DreAllDay.com.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, Dre All Day. We're going to do this NBA quote-unquote so far review. It's close to the All-Star break. Actually, today is Thursday, February 6th. So anything that happens in the games tonight or after this, between now and when this video actually comes out, I didn't know about. So we're going to go through this. Hopefully, I think y'all go through this a little bit quicker than I did the first time. I think the first time was about 25 minutes, but we'll see. I'm going to go through both conferences, see what's happening, talk about teams, players, matchups, possibly the playoffs, all-stars, MVP debate, and all that stuff. First of all, Eastern Conference. Indiana got a 3-game lead on the Heat. See, this is the thing with the Heat and the Pacers. A lot of people who are not big Heat fans are talking like, yo, the Pacers going to beat the Heat. You know, the Pacers is coming for them this year. They motivated. They going to get the #1 seed. And the Pacers then went all in on this regular season. All in to get that top seed, right? So if they get that Game 7, it'll be at home, right? And everybody's saying the Heat is complacent. The Heat's coasting through this season. They don't look as hungry. Dwayne Wade's not playing in all the games. Their role players getting old. They're going to miss Mike Miller. And despite all of that, the Pacers only got a 3-game lead on the Heat. Like, I don't see that the Pacers are so dominant. People are talking about them like they world beaters. They only got a 3-game lead, and they didn't put everything they got into this season. They got Stevenson playing great. Hibbert's all-star. Paul George is top 5 now. Heat, LeBron's still doing his thing. Like I said, the thing about the other players, they only got a 3-game lead. I don't see the Pacers as complete world beaters here, and I still, push come to shove, the Heat need Dwayne Wade in the Game 7. Dwayne Wade will be there, and we know about LeBron James, and we know everybody else on that team. That's a battle-tested team. They done won back-to-back titles, been in the finals 3 years straight. Pacers ain't won nothing, and lost to the Heat the last 2 years. I gotta see it. Same way I said when the Lakers lost to the Thunder, I think in 2011, after they had won back-to-back titles. I got to see the team, I got to see the champs get beat. I got to see you kill them before I admit that they're dead. I ain't admitting that he's dead until I see somebody beat him. The Pacers got to actually get on the court and beat them 4 times out of 7 for me to say that they're dead. And until that happens, the Miami Heat is still the team to beat. Now, number 3 seed, 4 seed, the Raptors and the Hawks, which is crazy. I mean, the Hawks, one of the teams is just good every year. It seems like they always good, either 4, 5, or 6 seed every year, but they never title contenders. Like, the Hawks ain't winning no championship, but they're going to make the playoffs. They just keep making the playoffs. It's kind of like they treading water and being good. I don't know if they're all right with that, if they're going to try to blow it up eventually. I don't know what the Hawks are actually trying to do. They know that they're not winning no championship with the team that they got. They're not beating the Pacers. They're not beating the Heat with that team. But they just continuously just seem just good enough. I mean, they beat the Heat a few weeks ago. They just one of those good enough teams. The Raptors are a surprise. They're playing really well. DeRozan made the All-Star game. Lowry could have made it. They playing really good as a team. I don't watch them that much, so there ain't that much I can say about them. They're the number 3 seed, and they're 9.5 games behind the Heat. It just shows you the gap between the top 2 teams. So, like everybody else is saying, they should just cancel the whole East and just do the East playoffs and just have a conference finals between the Pacers and Heat. But no, that's why they play the games. They got to earn their spots. I think it'll be fun to watch the Heat play the Raptors in the second round if everything holds to where it's at right now. I think the Hawks-Washington series would be good too, with the winner going on to play the Pacers. But we still got Chicago at 6, Brooklyn at 7. Charlotte is in the 8th spot. That'd be crazy if the Bobcats were to make the playoffs. And they 6 games under 500. So there's a lot of not good teams in the Eastern Conference, as we all know. Detroit and New York both like 2.5 or fewer games out of the final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it really don't matter if they make it or not. I'm pretty sure a team like New York wants to make the playoffs just to say that they did, but they ain't going nowhere. They're going to get stomped in the first round, especially if they're the number 7 or 8 seed by the Heat and the Pacers. But that's what it is in the East. Let's move on to the West, which is a little bit more interesting. Of course, we got OKC. They 3 games up on the Spurs for the first seed. Kevin Durant has been, I mean, we all know what Kevin Durant's been doing in the absence of Russell Westbrook. A lot of people have been talking about, hey, what if the Thunder was to trade Westbrook and get something else for him? I mean, Russell Westbrook's the top 10 player in the league. It's obvious that Kevin Durant is more assertive and more dominant than he already was. He was already MVP caliber with Westbrook. Now, without him, he's He's a juggernaut. He's right there neck and neck with LeBron James pretty much as far as he's performing this year. We will say that. Not in complete career accomplishments, but as far as he's performing this year, he's neck and neck with LeBron without Westbrook. And the Thunder was to trade Westbrook and get another piece. Man, they could get almost any player in the league for Russell Westbrook. He's top 10. I mean, how many players in the league would not get traded for Russell Westbrook? I mean, it's only a few. I say maybe Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, LeBron, KD, maybe somebody like Kobe, of course. There's only a few guys. Maybe a Tim Duncan because he's been around so long. Possibly a James Harden. Not even James Harden. I mean, there are maybe 6 or 7 guys in the whole NBA who their teams would say, there's no way we're discussing trading our guy for Russell Westbrook. Every other player in the league is in play if Russell Westbrook is available. So I do think, I have no idea, no knowledge of this even being a discussion in OKC's front office. All right, disclaimer. But if the Thunder was to trade Westbrook to get another piece to go next to KD and let Jackson run the point, who's been playing great in Russell's absence, man, they could be nasty depending on the player that they get. Because we see KD can handle the load without Russell now that Jackson has stepped up at the point. Because last year in the playoffs when Russ went down, KD wasn't ready to do that. He wasn't playing how he's playing now. And the guys around him, most notably their point guard, Reggie Jackson, he wasn't ready, but he's ready now. He's a starter right now in the NBA. He should be starting. So when Russ comes back, they're going to have a starter coming off the bench, same way they had with James Harden. But that's very interesting with that team. OKC is definitely my pick to come out of the West as long as they stay healthy. I mean, even if Russ goes down again, we already see what they could do without him. So KD is just dominating right now. San Antonio just quietly keeps doing their thing. I don't watch many Spurs games. They don't make no headlines. They just keep quietly doing their thing, keep quietly winning. They're the number 2 seed right now. They're going to be there in the end. Then you got Portland at number 3, they started off on complete fire. They cooled off just a little bit, but they got 2 All-Stars and Damian Lillard. Got his signature workout packages out now, for those who don't know. Damian Lillard and LaMarcus Aldridge, they got a great group of role guys around them. Robin Lopez is good. They got the rookie McCollum. I haven't really seen him. Mo Williams off the bench. Wes Matthews is great. He's a great role player. And Nick Batum is another great role player. But they paying Nick Batum star money, so I can't necessarily call him a role player. You got the Clippers, who probably my favorite team to watch in the West, especially when Chris Paul is playing. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre, Jamal Crawford, that combination, and it being LA. I want to see the Clippers play the Thunder in the conference finals. That's what I want to see. Right now, the Clippers is the 4th seed. So if everything holds, the Clippers and Thunder would end up playing in the second round if they both win in the first round. If they both win in the first round. So I'd rather see them play in the conference finals, but somebody got to take down Portland. Somebody got to take down San Antonio for that to happen. They both going to have to get took down probably by each of those teams. But I like the Clippers a lot. I want to see them and the Thunder go at it for everything, especially with Russell back. Russell against Chris Paul, and you got Blake going against the 2 bigs and on OKC's team, Jamal Crawford off the bench. So I think that'd be a hell of a matchup. Houston Rockets, I haven't watched them much, but we know what they got. They got Chandler Parsons, great role guy. Of course, we know James Harden. We know Dwight Howard. Jeremy Lin, who's better than people. He was a superstar when he had Linsanity. Then when that ended, people was talking about him like he's a bum. But Jeremy Lin is actually a really good fucking player. He can score with anybody, especially off the screen and roll. Pat Beverly, that dog defense at the point guard position. And Asik's not even playing. Omer Asik, who should be starting at center somewhere in the league, he don't even play. He's just sitting on the bench doing nothing. Hopefully by the time you watch this video or close to it, he gets traded for somebody who will actually play for them. Terrence Jones, guy who came out early from Kentucky, started off slow, spent some time in the D-League, but he's doing his thing right now for Houston. He's like the perfect guy on that team because he can shoot from the outside and he clears out space for Dwight in the paint. You can't have 2 big dudes who can't step outside the paint with Asik and Dwight. That didn't work. So now that they got Terrence Jones in there, that's a real good team with them. Golden State's the 6th seed. I haven't really been a big fan of Golden State. Something about them just doesn't sit right. I don't see them as a team capable of winning a 7-game series against none of these top teams. So them against the Clippers would be a hell of a series because you see how Blake Griffin gets into it with their guys all the time. and it'd be a real up and down series, especially since neither Chris Paul nor Steph Curry is very good at playing defense, so they just be cooking each other the whole series. And we know Golden State's home crowd is ridiculous. It'll be fun to watch. And granted, Golden State could have beat the Spurs last year. Stephen Curry got hurt, and they blew game 1 against the Spurs. They would have won that series if those two things didn't happen, but those two things did happen. I don't know if they're ready to beat anybody in no playoff series. Right now, they're the 6th seed, which means they would play Portland in the first round. I don't see them winning that series. I see it being a hell of a series, one that I would stay up late to watch since I'm on the East Coast. But I don't see them winning that series, absolutely not. I don't see Golden State winning the series this year. But I didn't see them winning last year, and they beat Denver 4-2. They beat them pretty easily, so we'll see. Number 7 seed is Phoenix, who surprised everybody. We thought they was tanking, especially after they traded Gortat before the season. But they actually got better. So Phoenix is playing excellent. Hornacek, his first year coaching, is killing. Goran Dragic. He's been great. Him and Bledsoe together in the backcourt has been a surprise combination. Who else Phoenix got? The Morris twins, who are actually from Philly like me. They doing their thing. I don't know how their rookies are doing. I think they got Goodwin from Kentucky, and they got Alex Len. I know he started off the season injured, but I know he's playing now. But I haven't really watched. I haven't watched any Phoenix games actually. I don't think they play. I think they play in Miami. But I don't think Miami has played at Phoenix yet. So when Miami plays Phoenix, I'll check them out. I haven't really watched them much. And the Mavericks and the 8th seed. They're 29-21 as the 8th seed in the West. If they were in the East, they would be about 7 games behind the Heat for the 3rd seed. So that's crazy. They like right cliff hanging on to the last playoff spot in the West. And Dallas, I mean, they got Dirk, who's a Hall of Famer, Vince Carter, who's reinvented himself as an off the bench or role player guy who can play. Vince Carter can play, even though he don't jump through the roof no more. He can play. He can shoot. He can handle it. He's a smart player. He got that experience. Monte, who's been more efficient, or at least he started off the season more efficient, running that pick and roll with Dirk. Now he got somebody to run it with who can finish. He don't have to force up terrible shots like he has been his entire career before now. The Grizzlies are not in the playoffs right now. Memphis would miss the playoffs if they started today. Denver's out. Minnesota's out. I had high hopes for Minnesota. I'm a big fan of Kevin Love. But I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they really got the horses to knock out any of these teams there, because they're going to have to go on a little string of victories. They 5 games out of the last spot right now, 4.5 games. They're going to have to go on a string of winning to actually make the playoffs, and they're going to have to beat some of these top 8 teams in order to get there. I just don't see it happening. I do see Kevin Love leaving Minnesota, absolutely. Kevin Love's from Oregon. He went to school in California. He plays in Minnesota, and they're not good. And they shorted him. Minnesota didn't even give Kevin Love a max contract when they could have, because they wanted to save it, quote unquote, to give to Ricky Rubio. What the fuck kind of idea was that? A very bad one. And the guy who made that decision, he got fired already. So, but they still fucked, because Kevin Love's still going to leave, no matter the fact that it wasn't the current guy who did it. He's going to leave. Unless they somehow start winning. Maybe they win the lottery this year, get a great player, and become good. But they not. I don't see them making the playoffs. New Orleans, Anthony Davis is incredible. He should. Hopefully he gets to replace Kobe in the All-Star game. They haven't announced anything yet. And I'm not sure if Chris Paul is going to be back for the All-Star. I heard he was going to be back actually tomorrow. Today's the 6th. I heard he might play tomorrow or Sunday, which would be the 9th. Tomorrow's the 7th. But Anthony Davis, I think he'd be a good guy to choose as a replacement All-Star. Him or Dragic, probably the 2 guys I think could be replacement All-Stars when it's announced that Kobe's not going to play. Because Kobe's pretty much said he's not going to play. Sacramento, we know they're pretty much trash, and Utah is pretty much trash. They're tanking. We know Utah's tanking, but they only a game. The Lakers, Sacramento, and Utah, there's only one game, a half a game separating the 3 of them. So imagine the Lakers get the #1 pick. That'll be something, right? And Kobe comes back. So that's pretty much all that's happening in the West between the 2 conferences. As far as the individual performances, we see LeBron James and Kevin Durant right now. We know KD's the MVP right now. The season ended, and I think as long as KD keeps his numbers pretty steady, if he ends up averaging 29-30, he's going to lead the league in scoring again, probably. Him or Melo, probably. And he keeps doing what he's doing even when Russ comes back. Even if he tapers off a little bit, he's going to win the MVP. only way he won't win it is if, let's say, he gets injured and misses the rest of the season. He might not win it because he didn't play enough. Or if LeBron just starts doing amazing, crazy things, but I don't think he's going to do that because LeBron's been shooting. His usage rate is actually as low as it's been since he was in Cleveland early in his career this year. So his efficiency is very high, but his usage is very low, which means he's not touching the ball as much as he used to. And Kevin Durant's usage is extremely high. It's higher than it's ever been because he got the ball in his hands all the time, which is why he's putting up these crazy stats, on top of the fact that he's really fucking good. So I think as long as KD plays the rest of the season, I mean, if he plays in the rest of the games, he's going to win MVP. I think that's pretty much done. It's not even about the stats comparison now, because he beat LeBron in that big game on TV, and he put together that string which had everybody's attention, and he's never won it. They've been trying to predict he's going to win it for the last 4 years. He never won it. He's going to get it this year. People tired of voting for LeBron, no matter how well LeBron plays, because it's a two-horse race, basically. It's those two guys for MVP. But LeBron's probably going to lose to KD in a landslide. Hit the voting at the end of the day, and at the end of the season, he'll probably lose to him in a landslide. What other awards? Rookie of the Year, I think the guy from Philly, MCW, is pretty much going to get that. He keeps putting up solid stat lines. I never watched him in college, so I didn't really know much about him. I thought Oladipo might get it. He'll probably come in second. He's playing really solidly, but he ain't been like MCW's put up some spectacular lines. So he's going to do it. What else is going on? The Milwaukee Bucks are 9-40. They got the worst record in the league by a big margin. Didn't even mention that. Man, yeah, they're really terrible. So I think they're aiming for that #1 pick, and they're going to need it. If they don't get a top 3 pick, they're in serious trouble because they're pretty much in tank mode now. If they don't get a top 3 pick, that means they wasted this season. They deserve that top 3 pick because y'all know the lottery is only actually picking the top 3 teams, and then everything else just goes in order by record. The Cleveland Cavaliers, I heard they fired their GM actually today. I was talking to a couple of my boys. I predicted they're going to fire Mike Brown. Maybe by the time you see this video, Mike Brown will be gone because he's basically lost the locker room. Your best player don't like playing with you. At least that's what the reports are. Your best player don't want you, and he got a max contract or about to get one. Yeah, the coach gonna go. So, you know, they're saying Kyrie's unhappy out there. Kyrie's had some bad games himself. He's been outplayed by some opposing point guards, some guys who are not even that good, or at least not by their reputation. And you know, Cleveland's looking like shit. They lost. They got rid of Andrew Bynum. They had the #1 pick, and that guy has been a bust. We can say he's been a bust this season. We don't know what he's going to do the rest of his career, but he's pretty much been a bust this season. They're just a dysfunctional team. They got Luol Deng thinking he was going to help turn it around, but I don't see Luol as that type of player. He's a guy you fit in with the good guys. He's not a guy you bring in to lead them. He's a guy who fits in. I don't think he's going to turn them around. If Kyrie don't do it, then it's just not going to happen with the unit they got right now. So yeah, Cleveland's in a fucked up situation. So I think the coach is going to be gone. GM's already gone, and the way it's looking right now, Kyrie might be gone. But the only way Kyrie can leave is if he takes a qualifying offer, which means take a less than max salary for one whole season, then he becomes unrestricted. The way that his free agency is coming, he will be a restricted free agent, which means whatever offer he signs, the Cavs can match it, and they will. So I don't see him becoming a free agent unless he really, really wants it. He would have to take that qualifying offer and stay patient for an entire season in Cleveland, which I absolutely don't see happening, and there's no way they're going to trade him. So, Kyrie, you might be stuck in Cleveland for a while, unless you take that deal. What else is going on in the league? I think that's pretty much it. Any of y'all got any questions, comments, opinions, leave them down there. The All-Star break's coming up. Should be a good All-Star game. Maybe if anything good happens that weekend. We got the slam dunk contest. I heard John Wall's going to be in it. I'm excited to see him. I heard Paul George is going to do it. I'm excited for that. Heard Damian Lillard's going to do it. And I seen Damian Lillard. I know he can dunk, but I ain't seen him do anything that made me say, wow, he should do the dunk contest. But he said he's going to do it. At least that's what the reports are. So those 3 guys, I'm excited to see that dunk contest. John Wall, Paul George, and Damian Lillard. That's a good contest. I don't know who the other guys are going to be, but that'll be pretty good. 3-point shootout's always good because you don't have to change nothing about that. Just let dudes let it fly. The All-Star game, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. It's just nice to watch all the best players on the court at once, but the game is not always that interesting. The rookie sophomore challenge, they call it the Rising Stars game now. And sometimes that's good. It's the same thing. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's not. They had a little draft now. Instead of being rookie, sophomore, they have a draft. I like the better when it was rookie, sophomore. So you kind of got solidarity between the two groups. Like, all right, we the new guys. We're going to beat these guys who've been in the league. I liked it better that way, but they changed that. As far as the All-Star Weekend, that fucking skills competition, that shit got to go. Get rid of the skills competition. That dribbling through cones and throw a bounce pass through the little hoop. What the fuck is that? I don't understand. What skill are you showing in that? Like, I was talking to, I don't remember who I was talking to. Like, you don't even break a sweat doing that competition. Like, these dudes put on their whole uniform, and the whole thing takes 30 seconds. And the only part of it that's actually a challenge is 2 challenges. Actually, one is kind of half a challenge. Make a mid-range pull-up jump shot at the foul line. You make a layup, which is easy, and then you dribble through the cones, which nobody ever messes up on, because you got these point guards dribbling through cones, and then you got to throw the bounce pass. That's the only part that's hard, is throwing that bounce pass and getting it to go in the hoop, right? You can have some high schoolers do that shit, some middle schoolers, some 5-year-olds do that obstacle course. It's bullshit. Why are they wasting time with that? The NBA needs to just bite the bullet and do what everybody wants to see, which is have a one-on-one competition at the All-Star Weekend. That would be fucking amazing. They just have one-on-one. I don't even care which players it is. You could get dudes who's like off the bench guys. Everybody's gonna watch it because everybody wants to see 2 dudes go one-on-one. Because in one-on-one, there's no excuses. You can't blame your coach. You can't blame your teammates. You can't blame the refs. It's just you. And if you lose, it ain't shit you can say. We want to see dudes go one-on-one. Let's say LeBron, Kevin Durant one-on-one. Let's say a Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose one-on-one, a LaMarcus Aldridge, Kevin Garnett one-on-one. Even somebody like a Jeff Green against Michael Beasley one-on-one. Would you watch that? Jeff Green against Michael Beasley? I'll watch that. Even the off the bench guys. Let's say a guy like Manu Ginobili against Vince Carter one-on-one. Is that something you would watch? I'll watch that more than I watch the game. If they had that one-on-one. That's what they need to do. They need to put some serious money up, because all these dudes ain't going to do it just to do it. Too many dudes got weak egos. They got fragile egos. Even though they at the high level, they got fragile egos. They won't want to put that on the line in front of millions, because everybody's going to be watching. It's not like a regular season game where only your local teams is watching and it don't become a story unless something crazy happens. Everybody's watching. Don't nobody want to get embarrassed. So they got to put up some serious money to motivate people to do it. Same thing they need to do with the dunk contest to kind of bring the excitement back. The dunk contest kind of got weak from where it used to be. But that's my opinion on the All-Star Weekend. We'll see how it goes. As I said, I'm recording this on February 6th. Questions, comments, opinions, leave them down there. That's it. That's all. Work on your game. Don't forget, the Hoop Handbook signature workouts are out now. We got Gilbert Arenas, Tracy McGrady, Blake Griffin, Paul George, Paul Pierce, Damian Lillard, Tony Parker, Jamal Crawford, and a Weekend Warrior program for those of you who just love the game. Want to add some skills and keep playing as long as you possibly can. That's all at hoophandbook.com. You get them as a package or individually. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.
Listen to me. I can't say it enough. Not only work on your game, perfect your craft. It's your craft. It don't belong to nobody else. Nobody else is responsible for it. You can do, you can be, you can have whatever you want. So for real, work on your game.